You're listening to Inside IASB, a podcast series dedicated to informing and encouraging Illinois School Board members.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Isaac Warren, and I am the Director of Digital Communications at the Illinois Association of School Boards. And in today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing two IASB staff members, Lori Grant and Natalie Duke, about some very exciting events going on at this year's joint annual conference in Chicago. For those of you who don't know, the IASB, IASA, and Illinois ASBO Joint Annual Conference is the must-attend training and networking event for Illinois School Board members, superintendents, and business officials. This event offers a variety of opportunities for focused learning to support your professional and personal school leadership journey. And so today, we're going to be learning about the exhibit hall with Natalie Duke and student participation with Lori Grant. This is just part one of a two-part series, so be sure to follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, or your podcast player of choice to get notified when the next episode drops. So to begin, I sat down with Natalie Duke, who is the Director Designee of Events Management here at the association, and asked her some behind-the-scenes questions about this year's exhibit hall. So you've been doing the exhibit hall for, is it your fourth year?
This is my fourth year, yeah.
All right. And in those 4 years, I just feel like the exhibit hall just keeps getting bigger and bigger, especially coming off of COVID. We got a lot more people coming back and the excitement down there. Every time I interview people in the exhibit hall, they always say it's just energetic, the energy. And you feel it when you're down there.
It is palpable. I agree.
It is really cool. So this year, I kind of want to build some hype. Can you give an overview of what attendees can expect from the exhibit hall this year?
Most definitely. Well, this year we're celebrating our 75th anniversary of the IASB Exhibit Trade Show. So that is a big landmark for us. And of those that exhibit at the show, over 30 are architects and engineers. We have 15 plus companies that are construction management, over 10 companies that are bus companies. And with all of the energy, the push for energy efficient, this, that, and the other, the bus companies are there to help you find energy efficient ways of transporting your students back and forth. Of course, safety and security is always a hot button. So we have over 10 exhibitors that focus on the safety and security of the schools and the students. And we also have over 10 exhibitors that provide furnishings inside the school to make it more environmentally sound and comfortable for students to have a good learning environment. And then this year, our other category, the category that just fits everything that doesn't fit into a nice little box, is like over 20 exhibitors that are just unique and different, that don't quite fit into a specific category because they cross over into multiple. So we have a large variety of offerings, and it's wall to wall down in the exhibit hall. It is sold out again this year. So come on down and see the excitement.
Absolutely. And can you share a couple unique features or additions? You talked about that other category. That sounds pretty interesting because I think if someone hasn't been to the exhibit hall before, they might think it's just a bunch of tables. Like there's some very interactive booths down
there. There are very much. So even in the AI world we live in, there are VR experiences that can be had in some of the exhibit booths. Very unique. And then we even have the old school down to where there's Lego pieces and you create your own building or school or creation with Lego pieces. So kind of that nostalgic going back to our childhood. And just to keep things fun and lighthearted, many of the booths have like carnival games and interactive, fun little cute giveaways. Again, bringing us back to just having fun, being nostalgic, remembering what it's like to be a student and a kid. And then so many have themes. All of their staff will come in the same kind of fun shirt or accessory. And then the food offerings are always a draw. We have samplings from many of our food purveyors and schools, and always want to enhance and make sure that they have the right nutrition available for their students. And so the exhibitors that are part of the show have great food samplings to help give you a glimpse into what they can offer to enhance the student experience.
Yeah, and you talk about variety, you weren't kidding. There are a lot of booths in it that have so many cool experiences.
Yeah.
So how can it can feel a little overwhelming just talking about it, and being there is just a whole other thing. How can an attendee make the most of their time while in the exhibit?
This has been a great question that I've gotten from districts, actually. And some of the districts, I think, have done beautifully with this, because I've interacted with them with that exact question. And they go onto the IASB website and they download our exhibitor listings, which lists all the exhibitors we have in the show by category. And they divide up who is to see whom from their board. So they kind of divide and conquer the needs that they have for their district so that they can bring it back to discuss, but it's not as overwhelming because not everybody has to go to all of the booths. They divide it up by board member to get the most information they can to bring back to the table when they meet again and discuss, these are my findings. This is how we can, enrich our district. So my advice would be just break it down a little bit. Just take that information off our website and use it with your board to divvy up so the exhibit show isn't as overwhelming when you come down. You're just kind of targeting certain areas.
Yeah, divide and conquer is definitely the way to go down there.
Most definitely.
Could you share some behind the scenes of what kind of goes on and how that gets all put together?
What I love most about being a part of the exhibit trade show is I get to work with 240 companies from around this United States and build relationships and learn more about their organizations and how they do help our school districts and our children as well. So it's building that connection, building that excitement that's then, like we said earlier, palpable in the trade show floor. And as far as organization, one of the keys, which is a key to so many things in life, is communication, making sure that all of our exhibitors that we work with in the main office, as well as those that come and work the actual show, have the information that they need to be able to set up and break down and do all the logistics they have to do with ease and without frustration. So communication is really the essence to setting up for a successful show.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And thinking about the overall conference experience and how the exhibit hall plays a very crucial role in that, how do you think it enhances the overall experience of conference?
So this IASB exhibit trade show is a day and a half. And as a part of that show, it empowers our school board members and superintendents to connect and discover insights that will elevate their district and enrich their student performance. That is really how all of this ties in together. The conference programs that you pick up when you first arrive at the conference registration area list all of the companies and a little quick bio and who you can contact. So you can read all that. And the conference program is an amazing resource to take back to your district and refer back to throughout the year with, I need a new curriculum that's specific to this. You can look in that conference program and go directly to curriculum and find that needed piece. However, when you're on site, you not only have that great resource in the conference program, but you have the ability to network and to talk and to ask questions to those exhibitors while they're on site to really hone in on the questions that your district has that can solve the issues and challenges and make it better for your students in the end. So it really just brings to life that conference program and ties it all in together in a very interactive way.
That's so cool. And yeah, being down there, I remember my first time going to the exhibit hall. That was back in 2019. I was blown away by just the magnitude, but also the diversity of offerings that were down there. And every year I'm still blown away by how diverse it is. It's like different every time.
And some of the things that people think of to invent, to bring is just fascinating. I mean, tables with all these different images that become interactive because students these days, we all have phones. We all like interactive things. Well, guess what? That's coming to the exhibit trade show too. These new things that are available to enhance the classroom experiences and to make for a better overall experience in the district. May it be software that the administrators use or all the way to the classroom. The whole gamut is represented in some form or fashion.
Absolutely. If you need something in your district or classroom, it's probably in the exhibit hall.
Exactly. Yes. It's a great starting point to solve those challenges that you have.
Yeah. Year 75 of the exhibit hall. Very exciting. Could you go into, every year it's packed because it is sold out. Could you go into why it gets sold out every single year?
Most definitely. Well, the Joint Annual Conference is one of this nation's largest educational conferences. And as a part of that, and because our exhibitors are coming from 75 different places outside of the Illinois itself, it has become more of a national level exhibit trade show. It's not just for Illinois. It's not just representing the companies in Illinois, but companies from all across this country that work with Illinois school districts to bring enhancements and new ideas, new safety apparatuses to help the schools. That's a nationwide issue. And again, since we are such a large event, our Joint Annual Conference is such a large event, our exhibitors who exhibit all across the country in various ways are selling our show. There's talking about this event and how much value it has coming back to the company. Yeah. So the show, just through our exhibitors' word of mouth, is selling itself because it's really become on a national scale, even though it just represents the state of Illinois.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get that national attention to a state conference is very impressive and really cool. We get to have all these people traveling from out of state to Chicago.
Agreed. Totally agree.
There's not only is it sold out all the time, we have a lot of repeat exhibitors.
We
don't
do.
We? And this is going to probably date me a little bit, but I mean, some of them have been exhibiting longer than I've been alive, which is a little weird to think about, but like 30 years or so, right?
Correct. So this year we kind of roll the clock over that now we have exhibitors that have been with us over 30 years.
Wow.
And of the current exhibitors, we have over 15 companies that have been loyal to this IASB exhibit trade show for over 30 years. That in itself speaks volume to the value that these companies take back to their home offices from the experiences and the networking and the relationships that are built at the exhibit trade show at the Joint Annual Conference.
I agree. And the networking is getting enhanced with the Whova app is here too, that we're going to be rolling out later this year, where attendees and exhibitors can network through the app and share leads. It's really cool to get to do that down.
Most definitely. I encourage everyone to get on to the Whova app. Once your invitation is extended to you, make those connections. Again, use it as a resource to plan out your visit to the exhibit trade show. You can look not only in the conference program, but in the conference app for who's exhibiting where and get your game plan together and maximize the time down there that you have in between the general sessions and the keynotes and the panels and the sessions and everything else that's offered during the Joint Annual Conference. So the conference app, again, has been a great enhancement to the ability to interact with the exhibitors, the sponsors, and the attendees.
Well, thank you so much, Natalie, for coming on the podcast and sharing about the exhibit hall. It's really exciting. It's going to be another great event this year.
Agreed. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, I spoke with Lori Grant, who is our Associate Executive Director of Outreach, Training, and Events, to go over how students will be involved at this year's conference. Well, Lori, thank you so much for sitting down and talking about student voices at this year's Joint Annual Conference. Really excited about this topic, and I know you're really excited about it.
So excited. This is the good stuff.
Yes, yeah. It absolutely is. And we've got a really cool selection of student participation. So could you talk a little bit about what that upcoming participation looks like for this year's conference?
So we have we've been working with the Illinois Music Educators Association and the Illinois Art Education Association to bring additional student work and student musicians to the conference. And last year we began that. We did invite musicians to our Friday Focus workshops, and the response was so tremendous from our members, how much they loved it. We've expanded it because this is, like I said, this is the good stuff. This is the reason that we're all doing this work. And anytime we can have a reminder of why we're doing this, it's a good thing. So we have a very fabulous lineup of musicians, student musicians. So I'll start with that. We have, starting on Thursday, we're going to talk about the equity immersion. There's an incredible group called the High Five Choir, and they're from New Trier High School. And they are a choir of individuals with unique needs, and they're students in wheelchairs and students with varying abilities. And they've created this choir at New Trier High School. It's 20 years old now. And they've agreed to come and perform for the equity immersion. And so excited to welcome them to Chicago. So that's what's going to kick it off with all of our students.
Yeah.
This unique, exceptional group of children and not children, students, young adults. And then, of course, when we get to Friday for the Friday Focus Workshop, we have another wonderful group of musicians joining us from Leiden High School, the Leiden Chamber Singers. They're going to be greeting the attendees after lunch and performing. So our attendees that are at the Friday Focus Workshop, they'll come from lunch and start their day with music, start the afternoon with music. So that's exciting. And then, of course, when you get to the general session, over at the Hyatt on Friday, that opening general session, there's so much energy in the room, and that energy is going to just multiply, I believe, because the Homewood Flossmoor High School Jazz Ensemble is going to be there to welcome everyone before the general session. So that's pretty darn cool. And then, of course, we'll have students there from the ROTC to do the colors. Canelan High School Madrigal Singers, they're going to be joining us, and they're going to be doing the national anthem. So a whole group of extraordinarily talented kids there. So that's just Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
So, and then Saturday, again, the opening general session, another really cool group from the Joliet 86 School District. It is their mariachi ensemble. They actually joined us at Friday Focus last year and were so well received. These kids, I cannot believe their talent. And everybody's just going to love hearing them. And it's going to be a great start to the day on Saturday prior to that general session.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So lots of music, first of all, but then we also have a lot of student artwork that's going to be displayed this year. So I know that back, I don't know how long ago it was, there was an art show that we had at the conference. We're bringing it back. So the Illinois Arts Education Association have been so kind to collaborate with us, and they're going to be bringing 30 to 40 pieces of student artwork that will be displayed all weekend over at the Hyatt. So we can see all of those talents from our kids. So our students in Illinois are going to be featured a lot more just in that respect with musicians and artwork.
Yeah, that's really great to see the diversity of work that our students are doing across the state and being able to present that at conference. And like you were saying, it's a really good reminder of on what this is all about.
It is. It's just, we always say it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids. But we get school districts are so complex, and there's so many issues that we deal with on a daily basis. And then you get these reminders of, oh yeah, that's why we're doing this work.
Yeah. So
yeah, we're excited to welcome all those kiddos.
So talking a bit more about student participation at conference, why are things like this crucial for the Joint Annual Conference?
We have, over the past several years, I don't want to call it a trend yet because it hasn't become one, but more and more school districts are discovering the absolute need to have student voice at the board table and having student representatives to represent the student body that this board is making all these decisions about. And so many school districts have gone to that. They've begun a process where they bring student representatives, some even call them student board members, to the table. And this conference, like any other board member that's attending, these districts are including their students and having them attend the conference. Some are attending for the entire weekend. They partner up with a board member from that district, and they choose which panels they're going to go to. Extremely inclusive. There's another opportunity on Friday, a Friday Focus workshop, bringing student board members to the table. And it's about school culture as well. And it's led by a phenomenal panelist whose name is Phil Boyd. He was there last year for this conference. The reviews of this panel, it's a full day workshop. I don't want to call it a panel. It's a workshop. Was just tremendous. And it included student attendance and board members together. So if a board wanted to bring their students along, we had one district bring 20 students, and that was absolutely fine. So it is a full day together with board members and students talking about school culture, engaging with each other, building connections, talking about school governance. We are also, we create a breakout session for the students for an hour to separate from the adults in the room. And the students talk about what's going on in their district and great ideas they're doing so they can learn from each other. So that is a unique opportunity for students that they only want them to attend that one day on Friday. So they attend all day Friday. And what's really cool is those students that attend that workshop can then go over to the Hyatt, and they are allowed to enjoy the general session and experience the general session. And we have special seating for them right up in front, kind of VIP seating. And it's pretty cool. And it is a great experience for kids who haven't experienced that before. And what a great opportunity for civic engagement and to learn about what it means to become engaged civically in their community, because that is something that we all want to get better at, that and to include these students in the decisions that are being made. Now, granted, they can't get in closed session. They can't vote at the board table, but they certainly can have their voice heard. So we do have guidance for that. We do have guidance on our website, and we're going to share that at this event as well at the Friday Focus Workshop. So that's another really great opportunity where we're trying to slowly but surely include student voice at the table.
Yeah. And like you were saying, this is like bringing up the next generation of school board leaders. And it is important that they just kind of get used to this process now. And it's great that we have something like the conference to provide provide a way for them to experience the learning that board members are actually doing right now.
Absolutely. And anytime that we've had, there's some panels that we've done as well, where we've included school districts like Oswego 308 did a great panel with us. Leiden School District, they both have student board members, and they've done a lot of the legwork to bring this to all of us. They so willingly shared their processes and are a part of the guidance, actually, that we were sharing with everyone. And they did a panel, I remember this 2 years ago, and they brought their student board members with them. And I've done so many panels and facilitated so many panels, but this one was so unique because at the end of the panel, when it was over, the line to speak to the students that spoke literally went from the front of the room to the back of the room, with these adults wanting to speak to the kids that were up there. They were so impressed and so intrigued by the things that they said. And that was an indicator to me personally, wow, we need more of this.
Yes.
Because these youngsters have so much to say. And it was just really cool to see how engaged the adults were in hearing what the kids had to say.
That's really encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah.
So looking ahead, how do you envision the role of student participation at conference evolving and changing?
We see it growing year after year, just adding a little more each year to give them opportunities. My vision is to have a separate conference for the students, to have a day dedicated to them, and to lead a conference that is focused on student leadership and building their capacity to be leaders in their school and being leaders in their community. I would love to see that eventually happen. But it starts with this. And I think that over the course of the next several years, we'll see more and more student participation. We've already seen the number of student board members on school boards in the past 2 years grow exponentially. It's still not at a giant rate, but it is there where it was just between, I would say, 15 and 18 districts. We're up to 30, 40 districts that are including students. So yeah, I do see it growing.
Great. I think I see it growing too. I'm really excited to see what future conferences look like with student participation.
Yeah, me too.
Be sure to listen to the next episode where we will learn more about the Equity Immersion event and share the success panels that are being offered at this year's conference. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss it.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. And thank you for your dedicated volunteer service to public education. If you'd like to stay up to date with future episodes, please consider following us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube Music. Have a comment or question? We welcome listener feedback and invite you to leave us a voicemail via the link in the description or send us a voicemail at communications@iasb.com. Thanks.